Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Swaytoven, and I think this video is important for the message that could potentially help people move on with their musical journeys because um, it might have something to do with like some type of stubbornness, ego, pride, but not really that. I think in my case, but a lot of times I actually don't watch other people's videos anymore because I feel like they've always said the same things, right? But recently, I've been realizing that the YouTube algorithm, 3 hour videos is like a thing now, you know. And these type of videos that I'm about to tell you have always been around. I forgot like the YouTube channel, but it's just like 20 years of mixing condensed in like an hour and a half. All right, and I finally like kind of like started watching one. I was laying down though. I didn't really want to watch it hardcore, and there were some ideas about it that helped me understand that like I was missing something, or like yeah, within my own self, right? Even though I understood a lot about like my own self when it comes to music, like this for example, there's a lot of times where I said when it comes to melodies and stuff like that, there's this musical intuition that I believe that people have, but then eventually lose it when they begin to just try to fall into a certain type of genre. Um, and that probably due to like the rhythm, right? Not just quite the melody, but the rhythm of the beat. Uh, there's an intuition of sound and how things should sound before you even hear something come out of your DAW. But then you hear the wrong thing and it just ruins everything. And it's just like, I think it was cool is because they've explained it as in like left side, right side of the brain or whatever. The way I understood that before they even explained it was from like spirituality. All right. Because they say like the like one side of the brain is creative, the other side is imaginative. One side's more structured, the other side's more like chaos, right? Um, and that's what your imagination is. It's chaotic, and I think that's a cool way to think of it. You know what I'm saying? You could be this chaotic music producer, but unfortunately, much how there has to be a lot of balance, there has to be structure, and I think that's what I've been missing. Funny enough, there was a comment recently on one of my videos where the guy pointed that out, and I think this is the time where like I have to like pinpoint like what's wrong with like what I think is wrong with me, and like go down like another like journey of learning something, I suppose, in a different way. Because a lot of people want to keep staying in this loop of learning how to make chords and melodies. But when I first started making music, all right, when I instantly started making melodies and putting beats over it, I knew this wasn't enough. It's because I had to make a whole like universe that people would listen. Like it would hit you like a universe. Like you'd be lost in the sauce, right? But I couldn't master it. I thought mixing was it, but it's mixing and mastering because I thought the beats and melodies was quote unquote easy, even though there's more intricate things to do. But maybe that's what I'm missing is understanding the own soundscape. There's a reason and philosophy why I even started like this channel to begin with, and it's just like the way I think, and unfortunately doesn't even translate out into like how I try to make music, and that sucks, right? So I think like when I first started, I had complete focus because I was just exploring everything in this digital landscape of sound. That's why I even call myself the foundation, building a foundation off of sound. But then I like to think about it as like the hyperbolic time chamber, right? You have this, and I didn't have internet at the time or like Wi-Fi. I had everything downloaded with FL Studios, a couple plugins and stuff like that. And I think about it as the hyperbolic time chamber where Goku had to go into the time chamber, and time is a little bit different. No one could see how he was training, and that's what you guys have to think of it like. Yeah, like it's gonna feel like you've been training or trying to learn this new technique that you know that you need to learn. When you figure out that you need to learn it, it's gonna feel like it's been taken forever. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's gonna feel like for me, I think. But then after that time is done, it's not gonna feel like any time at all. It's like it's time. You know what I'm saying? Because then you start incorporating that in everything that you do, and that's things that I've slowly started to do as I was making music. It might have been right or wrong. That's when you start fine tuning those things, maybe like compression or equalization or something like that. You know, those extra steps, and I know that, and it's just like it's all about like a workflow, I suppose, too, right? I'm summing up multiple like videos and even my own ideas into like one idea because it's just like workflow is one thing too when it comes to that structure. It's like how do you do things in order? You have so many different ways to do things. Understand that there's different workflows. There's not the best way to do things, but I will say that a really good way to do things is to start something, okay? Put like the skeleton of it idea down, um, even if it's not didn't come out the way that you wanted it to, and then take a break and then revisit it, because then you can be re-inspired with what you have, and then keep on doing the same thing over and over. Excuse me. But no, I mean I think there's just so many different ways and ideas that's just like maybe I trip myself over it, right? Especially when I start listening to like other people's stuff, it's just like, man, this sounds way good because it's mastered and mixed well, and it just doesn't even discourage me. It knows that like I have to get even better. But the thing is like I can't keep doing the same things because that's crazy, and that's what I think kind of start doing. As soon as like the stuff starts sounding good, like the beat, the melody, and stuff like that, and maybe I like just redo the same things that I thought sounded good when it comes to mixing. I'll just do it again without really changing it. That's when you have to change something up. You know what I mean? Like it's like maybe you always add a stereo imager and put it super wide on your master. Maybe don't do it next time like that. Maybe put it on pretty narrow, right? Maybe add a multi-band compressor um, to glue your melodies together, or maybe just a regular compressor, right? Maybe you adjust attack times and release times. Those are like the things that I'm talking about. That's just like, kind of seems like it might get tedious, right? But then it makes me think, well, that's how some people have designed their sounds. That's how you have these tight beats, right, with certain producers, because well, they're like they have a workflow and they just want to stick to it because it sounds good. You know what I'm saying, right? Me personally, um, I think you can have a different idea with everything else. So it might be hard to understand all the technicalities when it comes to the music, but I mean, that's the next step for me at least. You know, it's not knowing how to put the snare on the 3 and the 7. Okay, it's not knowing how to make a hi-hat roll. The craziest thing about that, you can all this stuff to do with music, you can just download it nowadays. The AI does it. I'm pretty sure there's AI mastering and stuff like that and mixing, but that's I think where the real creativity is, and especially melody. I think there's a lot of creativity in melody and putting different melodies together to form one super melody. You know what I'm saying? Different counter melodies or fragments of melodies to form something even more beautiful. But you know, I think that goes along with this vision that I'm trying to achieve. But it's just like, what's a vision? You don't see music, you hear it, you know? And it's just like, I've sat here for so long to try to understand like the mixing and stuff like that. And I feel like, whereas maybe I haven't been doing it correctly 100%, I've been playing with enough knobs to where like as I've eventually like, learn the technical side of it instead of me just of doing it like by ear, then it's gonna come easy. As an example, let's say I'm younger as a child and I'm just watching my parents drive around, right? I'm watching them how they drive, how they look around, or even cook, right? When you start to do it, it becomes easy. You know what I'm saying? In some cases, it's not like that. In music making, it is like that kind of when you're copying someone like verbatim. So it's just like I guess you could do that, but I don't know. With all that talk being said, I feel like if I start trying to make music, like right now, it's not even gonna come out good because I'm gonna be trying something different, right? Like I hear these talks about phase and all these other things now. It's just like yeah, I've always seen phase. I know what phase cancellation is when it comes to 808s and kicks, right? It'll just cancel it out, but there's even more to it, and it's just like that's when I think that if you really care, maybe I'm just talking to myself at this point, right? What's the time do you find to actually, dive deep into it? Because it's like, listen, and it's crazy. It's the smallest turn on the knob that probably like will make your stuff like sound even better than like what you thought it did. But it's gonna take a little bit more time to understand. Do you turn that knob, and how much do you turn it? So it sounds like the most simple way for me to try to motivate myself to do it, but it's just like it's not. It's just I want to master sound, I suppose, but I'm not trying to go to school for that shit. I actually don't think that would be necessary. Maybe out of passion I could, but it's just like there's no way. You know what I mean? Like all the information's out in front of you, but like I think the most fun way is to explore your own self, but the technical side. I mean, here's the thing. I think if someone was actually like, and this is like where it comes like a prodigy or like a fucking someone who's like natural because apparently like there's like there's math involved in sound, obviously, um, physics, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just like if you really think about it, we can like certain peoples can be naturally gifted at physics without ever actually going to physics class. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how we've fucking figured it out. You know what I mean? Math. There's certain people that can understand math at a conceptual level, and then when they actually get in hold of like the numbers and like the technical terms and the proofs and stuff like geometry, boom, right? That's when it's just like now they can manipulate it at a masterful level. You know what I'm saying? So like there might just be some people that were born with phase inside of them. They were born to phase or some shit, right? There might be some people that were born to make drum beats. You feel me? And maybe phase wasn't their calling, right? But maybe I'm just talking though. Yeah, I'm just talking. I ain't got nothing else to say for real.